today we are going to discuss your schedule. First, I want to ask, what type of word is schedule? Noun. Good. So schedule can be a noun. For example, I make a schedule every day. Or though, we can use schedule as a verb as well. So I can say, I schedule my activities every day. Today we're going to talk about ways that we can ask questions about your daily schedule. So I want to start with a little bit of a warm-up question, and that is, what do you usually do on Monday night? So think about it. Study English. You come to Jujang.
Yes.
So give me the full sentence.
I usually study English on Monday night.
Good. Perfect. So that is one thing, one question that we could ask about someone's schedule. The word usually is a frequency adverb. So remember last class we talked about an adverb. What does an adverb do? Describes a verb, right? And frequency, what does frequency mean? How often you do something. So this will be one of our things that we're talking about today is usually. Another question that I'd like to ask is, how do you usually feel after English class? How do you usually feel after English class?
Happy.
Good. That's the only answer. Just kidding. So, give me the full sentence. I
usually feel happy after English class.
Good. So we can use feel. We can also use another verb instead of feel. I usually feel happy, or I usually am happy, right? But actually, for am, we're going to say, I am usually happy after English class. So today, we're going to be talking about those two different ways that we can use frequency adverbs. But first, I want you to open up your book and look at the schedule on page 1. So what are some questions that we can ask about Luisa's schedule? For example, maybe we know the day and the time, but we don't know the activity. What does Luisa do when? Okay, on Monday morning. What does Luisa do on Monday morning? But what if we give a specific time, like 9 a.m.? If we use 9 a.m., then we also need to introduce with a preposition. So what preposition will introduce 9 a.m.? At. Good. So at maybe 9 a.m. So here we have a specific time. A specific time. Okay? What about a question we can ask where we know the activity, but we don't know the time?
When.
Good. We have two. We have one, which is when. Do something, right? So what is an activity on there? When does Luisa
go running?
Good. When does Luisa go running? And finally, the last question that we can ask, or another question we could ask, I should say, is the number of times. So this question is how often? Good. So give me another activity that Luisa does.
How often does Luisa work?
Okay, work. How often does Luisa work? So now I want you to answer the question about Luisa's schedule. So starting with the first one.
She goes running Monday morning.
Just make sure you're saying she goes.
Running on Monday morning.
How often does Luisa work?
She was
5 days a week.
Good. 5 days or 5 times a week. So for this one, we're going to really focus on answering this kind of question, how often? And to do this, we're going to either use expression, which is going to give us the specific time, or we're going to use just an adverb, which is just going to give us a general time. Give me examples of expressions that are specific times. Once a week, rarely. Repeat after me. Rarely.
Rarely.
Good. After that, what's more often?
Sometimes.
Maybe we have another one that you learned. Seldom. Good. Seldom. Okay. When I asked you at the beginning of class, I said, what do you usually do on the weekends or on Monday night?
I usually study English on Monday night.
Good. So on Monday night. So for this one, if we have any kind of main verb that is not the be verb, we're going to put the frequency adverb before the main verb study. But I say, how do you usually feel after English class? Using the be verb this time.
I usually happy.
And there's some that we can use at the beginning or end of the sentence. For example, sometimes is one that's really good to be used at the beginning or end of a sentence. So sometimes I am happy after English class, or I'm happy after English class sometimes. Okay, so we're going to do a short activity to practice these frequency expressions and frequency adverbs. So I have a schedule that I'm going to give you, and each group is going to look at the schedule. So when I say go, you're going to make a sentence using the frequency expression, and then you will come to the board, and write using the frequency adverb. Okay? The first team that finishes will get some extra points, and the team that has the most correct sentences will win. On your marks, get set, go.
I study English 2 times a week.
Okay?
I ride bicycle 3
I ride a bicycle 3
times.
times a week.
I buy Spanish tea 5 times a week.
Okay?
I ride a bicycle 3 times a week.
3 times a week.
3 times a week.
Good. Okay, we have 5 to 3. Hurry, hurry, hurry.
I am tired.
Every day.
Good. I'm tired every day. Good. Okay, so the right group finished first. So I'll give you 2 points for finishing first. The be verb, we should be using always. So I am always happy. Good. No problem. And be verb here, I'm always tired. Both are perfect. Occasionally, I occasionally ride bicycle. Bicycle is a countable noun, so we should say I occasionally ride a bicycle. -1. I seldom study English. Oh, so sad. So sad. Or I seldom study English. Oh, so sad. So sad. Congratulations, Team Right. You are the winners. Very good job. Excellent job.